Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Mike Tomlin becomes 10th head coach and second Steeler to lose 100 games with one franchise. Saturday's loss to the Indianapolis Colts was a significant one for the Pittsburgh Steelers and head coach Mike Tomlin. It was the 100th loss of his career, making him just the 32nd head coach in NFL history to lose 100 games. He also became just the 10th head coach to lose 100 games for a single franchise, and the second Steelers head coach after Chuck Noll, who retired with a 193-148-1 record over 23 seasons. Bill Cowher retired with a record of 149-90-1 after 15 seasons, Tomlin now having coached nearly 2 full seasons longer, but his career winning percentage of .629 is dipping closer and closer to Cowher's .623. Now, first off, it goes without saying that you have to have a certain level of skill to be in a position to coach 100 games, let alone lose 100. The vast majority of head coaches would have been fired long before they could lose that many games, but it helps when you've won 170 to balance it out. Tomlin's 100 all-time losses as head coach are tied for 28th most all-time, for example, but his 170 career wins are tied for the 16th most in NFL history. He still surely continue to climb both ranks as time goes on, whether in Pittsburgh or elsewhere, unless he surprises and opts to retire. While reaching 100 career losses is a dubious distinction, it simply comes with the territory of longevity. There is not a single head coach in NFL history who has coached more games than Tomlin while losing fewer of them. Lovie Smith lost 100 games in 193. Ron Rivera just lost his 100th in 204 games. He has the 7th best winning percentage among those who have lost 100 or more games. The others who have lost 100-plus games with a single franchise are Tom Landry with the Dallas Cowboys, 162, George Halas with the Chicago Bears, 148, Noll with the Steelers, 148, Don Shula with the Miami Dolphins, 133, Marvin Lewis with the Cincinnati Bengals, 122, Jeff Fisher with the Houston/Tennessee Oilers/Titans, 120, Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots, 119, Curly Lambeau with the Green Bay Packers, 104, and Steve Owen with the New York Giants, 100. Other notable coaches who have lost 100-plus games between multiple franchises include Andy Reid, Mike Shanahan, Bill Parcells, Pete Carroll, John Gruden, Mike Holmgren, Paul Brown, and Mike McCarthy. Along with Rivera, Reid, Belichick, Carroll, McCarthy, and Tomlin make up the active head coaches with at least losses in their careers. Of the 32 head coaches with 100-plus career losses, 20 of them have won at least one championship title, including Tomlin. Only 4 of them have a career losing record, though Rivera is tipping close to the borderline at 102-100. He could theoretically finish this season 102-103. The next 2 head coaches who will join the 100-loss club are the Baltimore Ravens' John Harbaugh with a 158-98 all-time record and a career .617 winning percentage, and Sean Payton, assuming he doesn't get fired at the end of this season, currently with the Denver Broncos, at 159-96 and an all-time .624 winning percentage. Both have one championship to their name. Harbaugh's losses will all be with the Ravens, marking the 11th head coach to lose 100 games with a single franchise and making the AFC North, formerly the AFC Central, the only division with a head coach for each team to accomplish the feat. When Harbaugh reaches 100 losses, he will be the 5th in divisional history, and among 4 who brought at least one title to his franchise in the process. Mike Tomlin admits George Pickens' maturity issues. It's a new week, but the same story for Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens, who is again receiving calls from his head coach to provide better effort on the field. Mike Tomlin called out his second-year wideout for the second straight week, saying that Pickens has made some strides since the two met last week to discuss frustrations over a lack of production and how Pickens can respond to not getting the ball as much as he'd like. "I thought he was better but still has, obviously, room for continued improvement," Tomlin said. Videos of Pickens starting but not finishing a block down in the red zone, when it seemed like running back Jaylen Warren might have had a chance to score against the Colts this past weekend, were shared widely on social media, and Tomlin cited that play as one of the areas in which Pickens can improve. "That's one of the examples I'm talking about in terms of obvious room for improvement," Tomlin said. Another example of how Pickens could improve came in the passing game as well. He failed to come down with a jump ball from Mitch Trubisky that could have moved the Steelers from midfield to the Indianapolis 11-yard line. NFL suspends Steelers safety Damontae Kaze for the rest of the season after illegal hit versus Colts. The NFL suspended Pittsburgh Steelers safety Damontae Kaze without pay for the remainder of the season for what the league described as repeated violations of rules designed to protect player safety. The ruling, issued by NFL Vice President of Football Operations Jon Runyan on Monday, means Kaze will miss Pittsburgh's final 3 regular season games and any potential playoff games if the Steelers, 7-7, advance to the postseason. Kaze was ejected from Pittsburgh's 30-13 loss to Indianapolis on Saturday after hitting diving Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. in the second quarter. Pittman laid out to try and catch a pass, and Kaze made contact with Pittman's head. Pittman left the game and went into the concussion protocol. Runyan wrote in a letter to Kaze that illegal contact with Pittman could have been avoided. Runyan pointed to Kaze's repeated violations of safety rules as one of the driving forces behind the suspension. Kaze, a 7-year veteran, has been fined nearly a half-dozen times by the league this season. He will forfeit around $208,000 in game checks by missing Pittsburgh's final 3 games. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said Monday before the NFL announced Kaze's suspension that he would not speculate on any potential discipline, saying "It doesn't help me, help Kaze, or football itself." The suspension means Pittsburgh will be without both of its starting safeties against the Bengals. Minkah Fitzpatrick is already out with a knee injury. Kaze can appeal the decision to hearing officers Derek Brooks or James Thrash, who have been appointed by the NFL and NFLPA to decide appeals of on-field player discipline. And you fan, what do you think of the Damontae Kaze situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.